Adam, and I am here with this week's Demiplane development update and community Q&A session. We've got some exciting things to cover this week, so we are going to jump right in where I can leave as much time as possible for questions at the end. So today's lineup, as always, latest updates, and we've got some tooltips. Tooltips are coming together really, really nicely. That is live now. We're going to do a quick demo of that in a little while. And this is the first, kind of major update for Pathfinder Nexus as we're in early access. We've been doing a lot of under the hood work, but this is the first time that you're getting to see some of that effort start to come together. And can't wait for you to see everything else that's coming. So we're going to jump into tooltips in a little bit. We'll talk about everything that's going on with the early access roadmap. Not a lot of changes there, but we'll talk about that. And then we have a special announcement next week that I will tease a little bit. And then ask me anything. So if you have questions, ask those in chat right now. Preface it with the word question. And we have a magical ritual spell being cast right now that is collecting all of those, and I will jump into them at the end with whatever time I have left. So let's talk about latest updates. We are live now with tooltips and a details sidebar, so it's a little bit different than maybe what you might be used to with tooltips and some other places. And by that I mean any kind of tabletop tools, but also tooltips have been around for a very long time. So I remember playing World of Warcraft and going to, I think Alakazam was a website like long ago. Wowhead, of course, a lot of the websites that I was working for Curse at the time that we had. So all of that, they use tooltips. One of the things that we're doing here is we also want those highlighted links that show up in the text to not only pop, if you're on desktop, pop a card out where you can just quickly see something at a glance, but also to be able to dig into those details without necessarily jumping to a whole other page. And so that's something that we've been working on. We think it's really important to get that in there for the convenience sake of that. And so we'll take a look at that here in just a little while. And also it's very important to note that everything that we have been doing to get these tooltips out to the surface, it's kind of like the iceberg with, most of the icebergs under the water. You get the tip, just the tip above the water. And so we're starting to see some of that come above the water. And you'll see more of that as we get into game compendium listings, which is the next major phase of early access. So really exciting stuff on our side, and we can't wait to share that with you. We also are working on Lost Omens content. The Moing Expanse is completed. We have some other books that we're jumping into there. We will keep you posted on some of the updates that we're going to have. So the Moing Expanse, when I say completed, it's completed internally. We've got some testing that we've got going on with that. We'll share as soon as we have that available for people to pre-order in early access. And then I have to call this out. It's kind of the end of an era. So tonight we've got the Heroes of the Plains, which is our actual play live stream that happens at 6 p.m. Pacific time zone conversion in my head. And so this is the finale of our campaign. And so we have played these characters for 20 levels and 3 years. So it's been a very long journey with these characters. Really love the group of players that we have. And so join us tonight for that series finale. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler since we've said it all over the place, but we're going to have a big wedding. So it's always nice to end with a finale with a wedding. That seems like a great thing to do. So yeah, should be a lot of fun. We appreciate all the fan support over, for these characters and this group of players for such a long time. And can't wait to, hopefully, bring the griffin into the roost effectively here tonight. Really, really looking forward to it. All right, let's jump into a little peek at tooltips now. So we're going to jump into tooltips. So I'm hoping that everything works properly and that we get this on the screen. So this is Pathfinder Nexus. I hope you have checked it out at this point. We're going to take a look. We'll just jump into the core rulebook, I think, first. So I bet the Ancestries and Backgrounds chapter has tooltips in it. So we're going to jump there. And let's see, this may be a little, let me see if I can make that a little easier to see. I'm zooming in a little bit. So embiggening, enlarging, enhance for you Blade Runner fans out there. All right, so with this, first of all, we do have a on desktop resolutions and higher. We do have a side navigation now. We've gotten this question before. We are working on ways that this bottom bar can also be collapsed. So we'll have updates on that, as we go through early access. But when you're on the larger screen resolutions now, you do get this navigation pane that opens on the left sidebar now. And so with Ancestries and Backgrounds, we are here. And if we are scrolling down, so you see the standard links. And one of the things that I wanted to talk through here is links in web development are actually far more complicated than I think we all realize a lot of the time, and especially when it comes to accessibility concerns. All of those factors come into play with this, and so one of the things that tons and tons of research tells people who are developing for the web these days is that you can have it to where links don't have underlines, but they're not as effective at signaling that there is a link. So one of the things that we have done throughout Pathfinder Nexus, and we'll be doing this for all of the Nexus releases that we have, is we still underline this, but we do it not with the native underline. We do it with essentially a bottom border where it can signal that, hey, there is a link here, there's an underline here, but it doesn't get in the way of the text. And so that's something that we think is really important for all of this content to be as readable as possible and as accessible as possible. And so, with that, we have our standard links, and you will see that there. But then as we scroll down a little bit further, there's our dwarf. I love that image, that picture right there. But as we get to dwarf backgrounds here, so you will see that there are we've got some tooltips here. And so you probably can't make it out on the screen right now, but there is a dotted line that appears for a tooltip that hopefully over time you're going to understand that, like, hey, if I click that, that is going to open a sidebar. So what happens on desktop is if you hover over, it is going to give you an actual hover card, as you see here. So it's going to tell you at a glance everything that you want to know about that Acolyte background in this case. But if I click it, it is going to open up a sidebar that is going to give you all of the details. Now, if for whatever reason you want to go and see that on its own page, then you can do that here with the View Details button. And then that is going to take you to the actual details page for the Acolyte. So you can just keep drilling down however you want to with that. So we have our miner here. I'm going to click on that. Another thing is we do incorporate Pathfinder Society availability in here. And so that's something that you'll see as all these game elements start onboarding, and you'll be able to quickly at a glance see if something is standard, restricted, or limited. So all of that is going to come together too. So let's see if we can find, let's see, we've got vengeful hatred. I'm trying to find, yeah, so we've got feats that this is going to work for as well. So you can click this, you get the feats coming up over here. Trying to look for a spell. Oh yeah, we've got meld into stone with our dwarf here. And so we're getting tooltips for the spell. You can click on the spell. You can see everything that's going on with the spell. We also have the ability here to even get tooltips inside the sidebar when you get here. So again, the intent here is to for all of that to be as intuitive and useful as possible. And so as you're using the content, you'll be able to do that now. So a notable absence at this stage is items. So we're going to have spells and feats and backgrounds, as we saw. Several other game rule elements that are in play here, but we will be adding conditions. And then again, the big one is items here. And one of the reasons that items is taking a little bit longer is we are trying to make item management as convenient as we can make it on the back end of this. So when we get to character management, the digital character sheet, and the character builder, we want all items to be all items. And so that means that we are going through a little bit of normalization between what is, base equipment and what is a magical item. And naturally, with Pathfinder, you have so many other types of things. We have structures. So we want all of that to be treated as an item where it is something that you can take into your inventory, you can give to your character to where you understand that you have ownership over that item. And so a few more steps there with items that we're going through. But as soon as we get that wrapped up, we are going to be tool tipping items in the same way, and you will see those come in as well and have that level of convenience. So main thing here is we're laying all of these building blocks that all of the other systems in the future are going to use. And that will let me transition here back to talking about what is upcoming and what is coming on the roadmap for our early access for Pathfinder Nexus. Let's see, I'm going to switch over here. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right, so upcoming early access phases, we've got that digital reader, we've got tooltips in place. As I said, we're finishing up items for sure right now. There will be annotations that we add into the digital reader, the ability to take some notes and that kind of thing later in early access. We have the compendium listings are the next big thing that we're going to be working on here. So all of that, so you can go to a spells listing that's going to have all the spells in Pathfinder there and ready for you to use. And that part is going to be really, really useful. We are already starting to see how useful that is internally. And so I can't wait for you to be able to get your hands on it as well. And then, of course, the really, really big piece is character management that we are already, of course, starting to conceptualize. And we're going to be digging into that after we get the digital reader and the compendium listings right. And in order to do that, we need your feedback. So please feel free to share that with us as we're going throughout early access. You can do that in our forums, which is a wonderful place to do that. But we're also paying attention to it in all the other places that you can reach Demiplane. So share your feedback as you have it here in early access. It's very helpful. Essential for us to be able to make sure that we're making the tools that everyone needs and that everybody wants to use in their game. So then we will start diving into adventures content after Lost Omens content is closed out. And then a little bit of a tease, can't say too much, but we have a special announcement coming next week. And we've had a couple of special announcements that are very similar to this. So you can start to make assumptions about what that might mean. But we are really, really looking forward to next week and sharing some more exciting Demiplane news. I will have a redacted name special guest because if you knew the name, it would spill all of the beans. But we're going to have another announcement next week. So tune in for that. Can't wait to share that news as well. All right, let's jump into questions. So time for questions. So if you have questions, type those in chat with question followed by the question itself, and we will collect all of those. I don't see too many of them in there right now. So if you have been sitting on the sidelines wishing that you could ask a question, then today looks like it is going to be the day. We're going to jump into these. And, when we're finished, we will wrap it up for today. All right, let's see. From Rex Verdi. Sorry. How do you celebrate a milestone? Authors will get themselves something to commemorate a book being published? Do you mark a major release or update in some way? That is a really great question. And I would say that we have not commemorated in releases themselves as much. Now, I'm sure we will celebrate when we fully launch with Pathfinder Nexus, World of Darkness Nexus, or anything else that we're doing. When it's that level of a milestone, we probably will. What I will say is, a lot of work went into getting the announcements together for Pathfinder Nexus. And so I would say that we have commemorated that. It's not here yet because of the shipocalypse that's going on out there right now. But we are supposed to have one of those really awesome Pathfinder goblin statues all the way to our offices in Green Bay. And so we're going to have, a life size, I think it's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet tall goblin that is going to be, just kind of watching everyone work in the Titletown offices that we have in Green Bay. So I think we did that to commemorate. We also had one of our team members painted a Pathfinder red dragon and 3D printed like a Demiplane logo that went with it. That was really, really cool. So yeah, we certainly celebrate that. Very similar to an author getting themselves something like you're mentioning here. And I imagine we're going to keep that trend up for all of these, special announcements, and especially when we launch these products, we will come up with something fitting for each of those worlds. I'm trying to think through now what we would do for World of Darkness, and the possibilities are really, really interesting with that. So I know that personally I have the special edition of the Book of Nod on its way to me one day whenever it ships. So we're going to have to think of something really special for the offices, for team members as we get to World of Darkness. And see, I almost spilled the beans about future things that I can't quite talk about. But yeah, as we have those milestones, we love to celebrate, and we will plan to celebrate. All right. Burt Reynolds Esquire, would it be possible to pin tooltips to the browser window like sticky notes? That is an interesting question. And I think that as it stands right now, that's not a path that we would go. But I certainly could see the usefulness there. And so it's something that we could explore in the future. So, essentially a way to almost pop it out into its own window, that kind of thing. I could see the more likely thing that we would do there is probably allow it to where not the card is staying sticky, but it would probably be more that the sidebar itself could pop out into its own window, if we ever did anything like that. But yeah, very, very interesting question, and something that we'll put some consideration into. I think by the time that we get to annotations, some of those questions, we're going to need to answer those questions for annotations as well. And so that could be a good time for us to take a look at that. But excellent question, something we can put some thought into. Let's see. We got another one that came in. If you got any others, get them in now, because otherwise I'm going to give myself some time back today and get back to work on the giant list that I have in front of me. All right. So PRCS_XO. Will there be something like the Pathfinder Nexus for other systems anytime soon? Now, it's always a trap when you say anytime soon, because I don't know exactly what that means for you. And most of the time, soon means way sooner for you individually than it might for us. But what I can say is, we are starting with Pathfinder. We have already announced that we have World of Darkness on the way next year. And, we will cover other systems, and tune in next week to see what at least one of those might be. We've got exciting things on the way here at Demiplane. So yeah, lots and lots of fun things in the pipeline on the way, and we really are just getting started. So, oh, we got another question that popped in, very timely, from Anchor 89. Starfinder. So Starfinder, we absolutely have the license for Starfinder, and we want to make a Starfinder Nexus. We just don't have confirmed details of timing around that right now. But what I can say, what I can confirm here today, is we have every intent to make a Starfinder Nexus. We just got to figure out exactly where it falls into the roadmap, and when that might come to pass. So we'll keep everyone posted on that kind of thing. Any more questions? I'll kind of a going once, going twice. Sold kind of thing here. If there are any other questions, I will answer them. I will answer almost anything. So keep that in mind. I've proven that out over the years that I don't shy away from most things. All right. I think that I have rambled enough, and we are going to call it there. All right. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Really, really appreciate everyone being here. And, we've got some exciting updates coming as we start to head into the holiday season here. We're going to have a little bit of going dark time, and a little bit of time to recharge some batteries. But 2022 is going to be a massive, epic year for Demiplane. And if you are a fan of tabletop role-playing games, which if you're watching this, it doesn't make much sense unless you are one of those fans. It's going to just be exciting times, and we can't wait to get into all of those good times ahead. I hope everybody has a great week, and we will see you here next week for, again, another special announcement, special guest, and that will also be the last development update and community Q&A session of 2021. So come and check out the announcement, check out the time with our guest, and if you got any burning questions, you can come back next week and ask those. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until next year. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Later, Gators.